Let's take a moment to think about our closest, deepest relationships. I will tell you, for many ladies, for women, those connections are usually with other women. But when it comes to what? To forming truly meaningful, lasting bonds with men, with gentlemen, whether it's in dating or friendship or long term partnerships, often there is a disconnect. There is an invisible wall. But why is it? I hear this question constantly. And it's not about blaming anybody here. It's about understanding the core differences and the societal pressures that create the distance between men and women. Today, we're going to explore the three major reasons this struggle does exist. Not to point fingers, but to bridge the gap. Hola, amores, and welcome back to the channel. To those who don't know me, I am Maritza, currently a graduate master's student in psychology. And today, we're going to talk about why modern women struggle to connect with men. So let's get right into it. I will share with you a saying in Spanish that goes like this. Un hombre que ame de verdad hará que la mujer primero se ame a ella para luego que pueda amarlo a él. And it means a man who really loves a lady will make the woman love herself first to then be able to love him. Okay? So my friends, the first and perhaps the largest hurdle is the fundamental difference in communication styles between ladies and men. Think of it as this, as two very different languages being spoken. For many women, communication is about validation and about empathy. We process our feelings out loud to feel seen. That's how we do it. We speak, we communicate everything, we say it out loud. We share a problem to connect over the experience. A woman, for example, says, I had a terrible day at work, or my boss criticized me and this is what happened. What she is often looking for in the men is for the person to say, oh baby, that sounds incredibly frustrating. I hear you. However, for many men, communication is primarily about finding a solution of conveying information. When the man hears the problem, their first instinct is to fix the problem. They see validations as a roadblock to action. So in response to her, the man hears, my boss criticized me and he thinks this is this. And right away the guy says, well, babe, you know what? Tell me the facts. What's the plan? Should we look for a new job or what should we do? He's trying to help, right? But he can possibly come across as perhaps minimizing her feelings. And this automatically creates a frustrating loop between the lady and the man. She feels unheard. He feels perhaps unappreciated for his attempt to save the issue, or right, to save, to solve, and the connection just completely stalls because the goal of the conversation is completely different between both parties. My loves, next, let's talk about the emotional burden and the societal expectations. All right. And the second reason is rooted deeply in how society has socialized men. Okay. For centuries, men have been taught that vulnerability is kind of like a weakness and that emotions beyond anger or stoicism are a liability. And this is what we call emotional armor. Men are often conditioned to put this armor, right, to be seen as reliable, successful, very masculine. But armor, by its very nature, is designed to keep things out. And ladies, who we are generally socialized to be very emotional and caretakers and nurturers, we're looking for a man to occasionally drop that armor and let us in, right? So we can share our internal words with one another. But when a lady asks, for example, how are you really doing? The man may genuinely not even know how to answer. He might fear that sharing true emotional struggles will make him appear maybe as less capable or as a burden to the lady, which goes against his complete programming. And basically, the struggle is not a lack of interest, it's just a lack of practice with emotional vulnerability. And that lack of practice makes true intimacy incredibly difficult. And finally, my loves, I will tell you that a major contributor in the modern context is the fear of perhaps misinterpretation. And let's be honest, the dating and relationship landscape is fraught with lots of tension right now. When a woman, for example, finally opens up about a feeling or a frustration, it can be interpreted by the men who's already on the defensive side as a form of criticism or a complaint rather than an invitation to intimacy, to communication. And often the reverse is also true. When a man shuts down and perhaps he offers just a very quick solution, a lady, a woman can interpret it as a lack of care or as a rejection to her feelings, rather than just a different problem solving approach. This defensive posture on both sides means that instead of connecting over the shared humanity of a difficult conversation, both parties end up retreating to their corners, proving to the other that their initial assumption was correct. So, my friends, how do we tear down this invisible wall? I'll tell you. It starts with something called intentionality. For women, when you are sharing a problem, for now on, clarify your intent and start the problem by saying, baby, you know what? I just need you to listen right now and tell me if this sounds awful or what. You give me your opinion, and there's no need to fix it. Just listen to me right now. Or, for example, baby, I need your take on this problem. What's your solution? Very good. And for men, practice leaning into empathy first before you offer the lady the solution. And perhaps offer some validation. Tell her, wow, my love, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And then and only then ask her, baby, do you want me to listen or do you want my advice? Understand that these struggles to connect is not a flaw in ladies or in men. It's just a byproduct of communication differences and cultural conditioning. And my loves, I will tell you now that understanding that difference is the first most powerful step toward closing the gap between our communication problems. And with this, we have reached the end of today's video, but I invite all of you to connect with me through Instagram. Go and check out my other music relaxing channel here on YouTube, and go and see the channel's membership just in case you find it useful. Once again, I am Maritza, and know that I will try my best to continue always bring you ways on how to create a better bond with yourself and a more meaningful relationship with all those around you. Mwah. Till next time. Ciao, ciao, my loves. Ciao, ciao, my amores.